Two martial arts legends standing face to face in what would become one of the most talked about confrontations in combat sports history. The tension was so thick you could cut it with a katana blade. When news broke that Chuck Norris and Sonny Chiba would finally settle their rivalry in the ring, the martial arts community went absolutely wild. This wasn't just another fight. This was the collision of two completely different fighting philosophies, two contrasting styles that had been brewing for years. The backstory: both men had carved their names into martial arts legend through different paths. Norris, the methodical Tang Soo Do master who dominated competition circuits for years, versus Chiba, the explosive Japanese karate champion and street fighter legend whose brutal effectiveness had made him a cinematic icon. Their mutual respect had always been tinged with the question, who would win in a real fight? Norris entered the arena like a predator stalking prey. His reputation preceded him. This was a man who could maintain relentless pressure for rounds without breaking. Standing 6 foot tall with the kind of functional muscle that came from years of serious training, Norris represented controlled aggression incarnate. His strengths were absolutely terrifying to opponents. Norris's kicking ability was legendary. Witnesses described his roundhouse kicks as tree-chopping power wrapped in human legs. His conditioning was poetry in motion, allowing him to maintain high-intensity output when other fighters would fade. The man had mental toughness that seemed almost supernatural, honed through years of championship competition where breaking opponents psychologically was half the battle. But here's where it gets interesting. Norris's greatest strength was also his potential weakness. His style relied heavily on forward pressure and systematic destruction. He was a methodical fighter, preferring to break down opponents through accumulated damage rather than seek quick finishes. This approach had served him well in tournaments, but against an explosive striker, it could become problematic. Norris's American tournament background meant he was used to fighting under specific rules. Point-scoring systems where control and technique mattered as much as impact. Real combat, even in a controlled environment, demanded different skills. His aggressive style, while overwhelming for most, could leave him open to counterattacks from the right opponent. When Chiba stepped into the arena, you could feel the atmosphere shift. This wasn't just another fighter. This was a man who'd built his reputation on explosive, devastating techniques that ended fights in seconds. His 5'9" frame carried the kind of compact power that came from traditional Japanese training, combined with the brutality of street-proven combat. Chiba brought something Norris had rarely faced: lightning-fast explosiveness combined with bone-breaking power. His Kyokushin karate background gave him incredible striking ability. Those hands were like sledgehammers wrapped in human skin. His film career wasn't just acting, it was a showcase of real martial arts skill that had been tested in full-contact competitions across Japan. The man's technique was legendary. Stories circulated about his training with Mas Oyama. Thousands of repetitions on Makiwara boards, breaking bricks and boards until his hands became weapons. Chiba could generate tremendous power from close range, something that gave him a massive advantage against pressure fighters who like to get inside. His mental game was equally impressive. Chiba had that rare combination of Japanese discipline and street fighting instinct. He'd competed in bare-knuckle tournaments where there were no second chances. This psychological edge often ended fights before they truly began. Opponents knew they were facing someone who could seriously hurt them. But Chiba had his vulnerabilities too. His explosive style required perfect timing and distance. Against relentless pressure fighters, his power-based approach could become ineffective if he couldn't establish the range he needed. His shorter stature meant he had to work harder to close distance against taller opponents, and sustained pressure could disrupt his rhythm. When the bell rang, Kelly immediately established his rhythm. His jab flicked out like a snake's tongue, testing distance and timing. Norris, true to form, began his methodical advance, cutting off angles and reducing Kelly's maneuvering space. The first significant exchange came 90 seconds in. Kelly landed a picture-perfect reverse punch that snapped Norris's head back, drawing blood from his nose. The crowd erupted. This was the Kelly they'd come to see. But Norris's response was immediate and brutal. A low kick that buckled Kelly's lead leg, followed by a right cross that grazed Kelly's temple as he pulled back. This pattern continued through the early rounds. Kelly would score with his lightning-fast combinations, but Norris kept coming forward, absorbing punishment and dishing out his own brand of systematic destruction. By the fourth round, something shifted. Kelly's movement, while still impressive, had lost that effortless quality. Those early leg kicks from Norris were accumulating damage, making Kelly's footwork less crisp. Meanwhile, Norris looked like he was just getting warmed up. The decisive moment came in round 5. Kelly threw one of his signature combination attacks, a jab cross-hook sequence that had dropped numerous opponents. But this time, Norris was ready. He absorbed the jab on his shoulder, slipped across, and stepped inside the hook. Suddenly, Kelly found himself in Norris's world, close range, where power trumped speed. Norris unleashed a devastating body shot that doubled Kelly over, followed by a knee strike that sent Kelly stumbling backward. For the first time in the fight, Kelly looked genuinely hurt. What happened next revealed the true character of both fighters. Kelly, despite being hurt, showed incredible heart. He used his superior boxing skills to tie up Norris, buying time to recover. His corner worked frantically between rounds, trying to restore his legs and prepare him for what everyone knew was coming. Norris, sensing victory, turned up the pressure. His kicks became more frequent and more powerful. He was systematically breaking down Kelly's defenses, round by round, technique by technique. The 8th round was pure warfare. Kelly, knowing he was behind on points, threw caution to the wind. His combinations came in rapid-fire succession, each one a potential fight ender. But Norris weathered the storm like a mountain enduring a hurricane. He absorbed what he couldn't avoid, redirected what he could, and kept pressing forward. When the final bell rang, both fighters embraced with genuine respect. They'd pushed each other to limits neither had experienced before. Kelly had shown that his speed and technique were every bit as dangerous as advertised. Norris had proven that his reputation for relentless pressure and conditioning was well-deserved. But in the end, Chuck Norris won by unanimous decision. The judges scored the fight based on effective aggression, ring control, and cumulative damage, all areas where Norris had gradually built advantages throughout the contest. Norris won because he imposed his will on the fight. While Kelly had moments of brilliance, Norris controlled the overall pace and direction of the battle. His pressure forced Kelly to fight Norris's fight rather than his own. The leg kicks that seemed minor in early rounds became fight-changing factors as the contest progressed. Most importantly, Norris's conditioning allowed him to maintain his intensity while Kelly's speed on movement deteriorated. In martial arts, as in life, sometimes the tortoise really does beat the hare. Not through any single moment of brilliance, but through relentless, methodical excellence. This fight became legendary not because it was one-sided, but because it showcased two different paths to martial arts mastery. Kelly proved that speed and technique could trouble even the most determined opponent. Norris proved that pressure, conditioning, and an unbreakable will could overcome superior speed and skill. Both men left the arena as legends, but only one left as victor.